Everything is bullish, and of course Polygon, the POL token or the Matic token that can be converted one-to-one, is up as well. Now, does it make sense to still buy Matic now? Will Matic outperform Bitcoin? Does it make sense to take on that additional risk versus just buying and holding Bitcoin? Or does it make sense to potentially buy smaller tokens? Let's have a look at on-chain metrics most people are not considering. Now, this is not the first video on Matic on this channel. I just published one 3 days ago, and that video outperformed the average video by 3.7 times. So clearly there is demand for Matic. Clearly retail is interested in the token, which is a good sign. And so crypto clearly is in a new bull market. This is Bitcoin over the very long term. And since November of 2022 to today, Bitcoin appreciated by more than 500%. We've finally broken the 100K. The long-term chart for Matic doesn't look as smooth, but that's also because Matic hasn't been around for such a long time. So this is the US dollar denominated chart. And really, most of the gains happened at the beginning of 2021. Now that was over here. Bitcoin during this time didn't really move much, but Bitcoin dominance absolutely crushed. In other words, the importance of Bitcoin as a fraction of all of crypto went down. The altcoins went up, so it was altcoin season, and the Matic token, or now POL, was able to benefit from this a lot. And maybe we are currently seeing a beginning of an altcoin rotation again. Maybe Bitcoin dominance just started to decline, and with another altcoin season, maybe Matic can outperform yet again. Now here's the long-term chart of Matic relative to Bitcoin. We have looked at this in prior videos as well. And it shows us yet again how important it is to be very quick to jump on altcoin rallies. Altcoins tend to appreciate very, very fast, and then when things turn around, they tend to bleed rather slowly during a bear market. And now maybe we see the beginning of the next altcoin rotation. So that's the bull case, right? That we see something very similar to the beginning of 2021. Now, how does the altcoin rotation happen? Why is there at some point in time a moment where Bitcoin's dominance crashes, where Bitcoin as a fraction of all of crypto isn't that important anymore, where everybody starts buying alts? I believe this mainly has to do with upside potential. If Bitcoin has a lot of upside potential because it already crashed 70 or 80% and it can easily make 5, 6, 7x returns, then people just buy Bitcoin because there isn't much risk in Bitcoin, right? You can just hold it and wait for the next bull run. For altcoins, that's different. Altcoins have to be traded more actively, and altcoins usually get bought when the upside for Bitcoin is limited, when people do not believe that Bitcoin can that easily make another 5x. So how likely is it that Bitcoin from here will make another 5x? That it will be at 500K, say in 1 or 2 years. When the market as a whole thinks that the upside for Bitcoin is limited, that's then when people buy the alts. And that's then where rallies like this happen, right? Where Matic, in this case, outperformed Bitcoin by more than 10,000% in a matter of a few months. Now here's another relative valuation chart. This is Matic relative to Ethereum. It makes sense to compare those two because Matic is a layer 2. It's a scaling solution on top of Ethereum. Here, the potential upside relative to ETH is 400% if this top over here prevails. Now, 2021 was clearly the year of decentralized finance. It was the DeFi summer. And so the total value locked on all chains across all DeFi protocols ballooned to 180 billion. Then came the massive crash where also FTX imploded, etc. And then our turnaround in September, October of last year. And now we're very close again to those old heights. And since Polygon is a very DeFi driven platform, maybe it can benefit. But is that actually true? Let's have a look. Check out the change in total value locked for the different blockchains in the last month. That's this column over here. And all of this is green except one, and that is Polygon. Polygon lost total value locked. Or in other words, capital went out of the chain. Now what happened? Here's the total value locked chart for Polygon over time. It looks very different to the total value locked chart across all chains. So it seems like Polygon isn't really able to take advantage of this rally. Let's have a look at the individual applications on the chain. And here's the resolution to our question. We've seen a 78% drop in total value locked on Polymarket. This is how that looks like. It went all the way up to 500 million and now it's down to 100. What is Polymarket? Polymarket is a prediction market or a betting house, so you can bet money on various outcomes. And that application attracted a lot of capital for the bet who wins the presidential election, right? Trump versus Harris. And since that election is now over, all of the capital is out of the platform again. And that is why we have seen net outflows out of Polygon in the last month. Now, there are actually multiple chains around the Polygon ecosystem. There is the main Polygon Matic chain, but there's also the Polygon ZK EVM chain, so the zero knowledge rollup chain. And here's the total value locked of that chain. It doesn't look as bad as the main chain, but let's compare the usage. This is the usage of the main chain. It saw trading volume of 322 million in the last 24 hours. And here is the ZK EVM chain, only trading volume of 4.5 million. It's almost a dead chain. And so while the total value locked of ZK EVM isn't too bad, the number of new users, the number of new depositors is dwindling. It hovers now at around 50 or so per day. It's a former shadow of itself when it was hovering around 1,000 to 2,000. Here are the number of unique depositors over time, right? Cumulatively, initially a lot of adoption, but now flattening out. What about the NFT market? Polygon also had quite a bit of a lead in that market. Here are the numbers. So that's just for the last month. And this is measured in Ethereum, not even 1 Ethereum per day that gets transacted on Polygon in terms of NFTs. Here are the number of daily active traders on the left and the number of weekly active traders on the right. Yes, it's not zero, but definitely it shrunk a lot. So now there's only 900 unique wallets involved in any form or capacity in Polygon NFTs. Now things are hyper bullish right now, right? Bitcoin continues to make one high after the next, and pretty much every altcoin is appreciating right now. It almost feels like because there's so much correlation within crypto that it doesn't really matter what we buy. What we see over here is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that's not in the top 10 in terms of market cap. And that's growing very nicely, very steadily in the last days. And I see this in the statistics of this crypto channel as well. Nobody was interested in crypto just a few weeks ago, and suddenly we're spiking up in terms of attention again. And so yes, it's true that everything tends to go up, but there are still ways to outperform. So for example, over here, this is the meme coin market, and in the last 7 days, AI16Z more than doubled. Yes, Bitcoin went up as well, but it definitely did not double. Now it's at a price of 43 cents. But the question is, how can we get into a token like AI16Z before it doubles? How can we find out about tokens like this early? And what I personally like to do is I like to follow other influencers. I like to follow insiders. I like to follow people that tend to move the markets, especially for those very small tokens. So have a look at this. Kyle Chessy bought AI16Z on the Jupiter exchange on Solana for 1.8 cents. And he didn't just buy once, he bought several times. Since then, the price went up by more than 2,000%. Now, who is Kyle Chessy? He's an influencer that tends to buy tokens very early, where of course not every single token makes these kinds of returns, but it's a bit like VC investing, right? You make 10 bets, you hope for 2 of those bets to make returns like this, and you're okay when the other 8 out of those 10 bets don't work out as well. So here we go, here is his channel. He's got 138,000 subscribers, and we track 12 of his wallets. So this is how wallet tracking works, right? You use on-chain analytics to find out who owns what wallet. And once you've got the wallet, you put this in a tracker. And then whenever this wallet makes a transaction, whenever this wallet buys or sells, we get an automatic notification. We are not just tracking Kyle Chessy, we also track Crypto Banter, for example. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. When they talk about a token, especially a small cap token, that token definitely goes up because there's a lot of attention on the token, right? Attention equals purchases, purchases equal a higher price. We've got 33 of Crypto Banter's wallets. And we're also tracking, for example, Alex Becker. He's got 1.5 million subscribers. We've got 12 of his wallets. And so really, I believe this is the way to beat the crypto market. It's to know more than most. It's not just to pick random tokens in a list, hope that they will make a 2-3x in this bull run. It's actually to be early. It's so early that most people don't know about this yet. I believe in this strategy so much that I made 8 dedicated tutorial videos just on wallet tracking. So how can we find influencer wallets? How can we track them? And how can we then also interpret the signals that we get from the tracking? It's all part of the premium membership of this channel. The link is is down below, thebitcoinstrategy.com. Premium is not just about wallet tracking, it's also about backtesting, it's also about macro indicators, it's also about risk mitigation, portfolio diversification, etc. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total in Premium. And so yeah, people are very happy. Feel free to stop this video over here and read this feedback. The most important thing is, of course, once we have those kind of signals, that we also get some feedback from the rest of the community, right? That we discuss when should we buy, when should we sell, what are the current on-chain analytics. That's why we've got dedicated chats on the individual altcoins as well. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to invest some of the gains to make the portfolio grow even faster. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like Premium, just message me within the first week and I will refund you 100%. You really have zero risk. And so does it make sense to buy the Matic token now, or the POL token? It depends, right? All of crypto is currently going up. So all US dollar valuations are likely going to increase. The question is, can POL outperform the rest? Is the current valuation of POL fair? Because even though the current momentum might not be that great, maybe Polygon Matic is already cheap enough to buy it now. Now let's compare the market cap with other layer 2s. POL has now a market cap of 5.8 billion. The Matic token has a market cap of 1.3 billion. So adding this up, it's 7.1 billion. That compares to Arbitrum with 4.5 billion. Is Arbitrum worth only half of Polygon, roughly? Let's look at usage numbers. Again, here is Polygon with 323 million trading volume in the last 24 hours. And do we now see maybe 160 million or so for Arbitrum? Let's check it out. The answer is no. We see 1.7 billion of trading volume on Arbitrum. The trading volume is 5 times larger. The market cap is only half of Matic. Arbitrum relative to Polygon Matic, in my opinion, looks way, way undervalued. And so here is the Matic token, or the POL token, relative to the ARB, to the Arbitrum token. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the current momentum in the last few weeks prevails and if Arbitrum can outperform Matic. In other words, that Matic will continue to do worse than Arbitrum, and we're probably going to see at least a 37% relative valuation drop. At least that's my opinion. I do not have a crystal ball either, but simply just in terms of valuation, simply just in terms of momentum, I don't really see a reason to prefer now Polygon over other layer 2s. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video, or see you in Premium. Cheers!